Thousands of years ago, in the battlefield of the epic war of Kurukshetra, a warrior stood frozen, confused about his actions. The warrior was none other than Arjuna, the greatest warrior of the time, whom even the fiercest enemies feared. We think we know the truth of the battle. The warriors fight for wealth, power, and glory. But what if there's a deeper battle here, one inside Arjuna's mind? Why does he freeze in the face of it all? What is the hidden truth Krishna is about to reveal? Welcome to Gita in Chaos, Episode 2, The Soul Beyond the Sword. Krishna stood still, his gaze unwavering. Arjuna's tears fell onto the battlefield, where a mighty war was moments away. But Krishna did not console him. He pierced through the illusion.
You grieve for those who need no grief. The wise do not mourn for the living, nor the dead.
Krishna's words cut deep. He doesn't say grief is wrong, but that it's misdirected. Arjuna mourns the loss of loved ones, of duty, of identity. But Krishna sees beyond the immediate. He sees the eternal. He's reminding Arjuna and all of us what you truly are cannot die. It's not that loss doesn't hurt. It's that loss is not the end. In modern life, we grieve failed dreams, aging parents, broken relationships. But what if those are just seasons, and we are not the season, but the sky above it? When we understand this, grief becomes a teacher, not a trap, and action becomes possible, even through our confusions. The wind blew softly, like it carried the truth. The sun dimmed for just a second, and Krishna spoke what no man had dared to say.
The soul is never born. It never dies. It was not created, and it will never be destroyed. As a person changes clothes, the soul changes bodies.
This isn't a metaphor. It's a revelation. Krishna unveils the timeless truth. The soul is untouched by death or birth. Just as we don new clothes and discard old ones, the soul takes on new forms. You are not your body, not your failures, and not your achievements. In today's world, we tie our identity to how we look, how we perform, and how we're perceived. But all of that is like a clothing. Krishna tells us, remember what's underneath, because when you know you're the soul, fear starts to fade and courage returns. Krishna's voice was not poetic. It was clear, not a sermon, but a wake-up call.
You were born into duty, Arjuna, to act righteously without attachment. You have to do what must be done, without fear of loss or gain.
Krishna lays down the path, Dharma over drama. Arjuna's duty as a warrior is not about winning, it's about standing for what is right, and doing it without being attached to outcome. In today's world, we ask, will I succeed? Will I be appreciated? What if I lose? But Krishna flips the question. What if you don't act at all? There's power in detached action. You give your best, not for applause, not for reward, but because it's right. That's real freedom. Arjuna listened, still on his knees. But now, something in his mind was shifting.
Be like the soul, unshaken by the pain or pleasure, loss or gain, but rooted in wisdom.
Krishna isn't asking Arjuna to be emotionless. He's asking him to be unshakable. Pleasure and pain, they come and go. But you must stand firm. Today, we are pulled in every direction by our likes, by losses, by fears and fame. But Krishna says, don't live on the surface. Root yourself deeper. Feel deeply, but act wisely. That's the true strength of the soul. The storm in Arjuna had not vanished, but Krishna had lit a spark, and now he would show how to carry it into action.
This wisdom I have spoken is of Sankhya, the path of knowledge. Now listen closely, of Yoga, the path of action.
This is the turning point. Krishna has only begun. He revealed the soul's eternity. Now he reveals how to live in that truth. Because knowing is not enough. We must move, we must serve, and we must act. And so begins the journey from philosophy to purpose. He doesn't offer escape from the world. He shows us how to rise within it. Arjuna's battle is far from over. But now he is no longer just a warrior. He is a seeker of inner wisdom which even we lack in this modern world. Krishna takes Arjuna and all of us from confusion to clarity, from fear to fierce purpose. What if our soul was untouched? What if your duty was never about the outcomes, but about being aligned with our higher self? We've seen the truth of the soul. Now comes the test. How do you act without being attached? In the next episode, Krishna opens the door to the Karma Yoga, where our actions become sacred and every step a path to freedom and clarity in life. Coming up in episode 3, The Fire of Karma Yoga, the Gita reveals to us how our mindful actions becomes the doorway to freedom.